Hi everyone. Before I continue on to the next part, which is part 5 of 9.1 exponential functions, I just would like to review the top portion using the Decimals app. So looking at the graphing and exponential function that we have here, so go ahead and grab your Decimals app, and within that little piece you're going to go ahead and type in your equation, which is 3. I'm going to go ahead and type in y equals 3 parentheses 2 close parentheses raised to the power of x. Okay, and then you have your graph displayed on the top. But you know what? I want to verify if my table matches what I have in my decimals. So go ahead and press the little spinning wheel that you have here. All of a sudden you have your table, and this just represents for you to go ahead and duplicate your equation so you don't have to retype it again. So I'm going to select the table, and there it generates the exact same values that we just came up with in our problem itself. The problem with the Decimals app, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, is the lowest number that you're given on the Decimals app is a -2. So if you want to find a different number, let's just say -3, you have to just simply type it in, put -3, and then it generates your answer right there. So whenever the x value is a -3, the output, your y value, would be 0.375. So you can use that too. And then what if you want to use or trying to determine when the value of x is 5 and your y value would be 96. Very nice little handy tool that you have here. Let me go ahead and put that away. Now, based on our last question, we're not going to be doing this one. Okay, number 5, we're going to go ahead and look at number 6. Solving one variable equation. So the reason this is already set up is I accidentally deleted the video when I actually did this presentation. So I'm going to just show you again how I came up with this using the Decimals app. What is the solutions or solutions? When we learned this, the term solutions, we understood that it's where the graph crosses the x-axis, and it's a good little reminder, your roots, your zeros, your x-intercepts, and solutions. In class, when we went over this particular subject or area, we moved this set of terms to one side or vice versa in order for us to set your equation equal to 0. In this case, I'm going to show you a different route using decimals or your Inspire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to graph the exponential side first, and then I'm going to graph the linear portion next. 2 separate graphs, and then we're going to determine the intersections of both. So again, just a little recap. This is an example of exponential because your variable is an exponent, and this is an example of linear. It has the form of y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to grab my decimals, and since we already used this one previously, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So I'm going to exit this out, and I'm going to type in the left side. So it's going to be 2 raised to the x, and there it is. I'm going to press enter. So now I'm going to type in the right side, which is 0.5. Oops, sorry. Let me go ahead and delete that. Sorry about that. It's going to be y equals 2 caret x. And then my next one, y equals 0.5 x plus 2. Okay. Once I press it, both equations on my graph, I notice that my linear is has a positive slope, and my exponential function, if you notice, it starts from here and it starts to increase. This will be an example of exponential growth, but what we're looking for is the point of intersections. In this case, I have 2. What you're going to do is zoom in. Okay, once you zoomed in, you're going to double click the point of intersection. It's very difficult to see with this lighting. Let me turn it off. Maybe this helps out. There you go, a little bit darker so you can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click my point of intersection, and what I'm looking for is my x value. So it's negative 0.863, and then that's the reason why my numbers are here. And then I'm going to move over to the other side. I'm going to zoom out until my next point of intersection. Again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and then tap it twice. And I'm going to write down my x value, which is what I write here, 1.449. I'm sorry, 1.44. My goodness. Okay. Now that I've determined both solutions, I'm going to go back to my paper. You notice I corrected my error. And then I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. Your all-on assignment will also require for you to round to the nearest hundredth. So here's my hundredth spot, which is 2 spaces after the decimal. I'm going to look at the number after it. If it's 5 or more, I will change it. In this case, it's 3, which is not, so it's going to remain as a 6. Here's my hundredth spot, so I'm going to look at the number afterwards, which is a 4. I accidentally wrote a 9 because 4 is not greater than 5. Stays as 1.14. So I'm going to remove this one and recopy it as 1.44. So these two are my solutions to both the the exponential equation and the linear. Okay, let's try B. You're going to have about 2 problems like this on your online assignment. You're going to treat it the same way. Again, the left side, because it has x as your variable, your exponent is your variable x. This side will represent your exponential function, and the right side would be your linear. So I'm going to use my decimals app. I'm going to remove the previous problems, and I'm going to type in y equals 0.3 raised to the power of x. Okay, press enter. I'm going to type in y equals, and then you press 5. And let's go ahead and look at my problems. Earlier I zoomed out too much, so it was very difficult. Here you go. Here's my exponential function. If you notice from left to right, if you're reading it from left to right, it's going down, 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 and it's approaching 0 but never touches 0. So your asymptote is this horizontal line where y equals to 0. Y equals 5 is a horizontal line when y is 5. Here's the only point of intersection. So I'm going to zoom in because I'm looking for the solution of these 2 equations. I'm going to double click, and there's my solution. So my x will be negative 1.3368, but I need to round to the nearest hundredth. So here's my nearest hundredth. I look at the number afterwards. Since it's 5 or more, this 3 will now change to a 4, so it'll be negative 1.34. And this is my solution for that particular one. Okay. This is a conclusion of all 5 parts to 9.1 exponential functions. I hope you guys have a great day, be safe, and make good choices.